Hey, what is up guys, MKBHD here, and we finally have it. The hype is finally through. We have the specs and the design and everything of the OnePlus 2 officially official. So the 5.5-inch display, the 3300 milliamp hour battery, the 13 megapixel camera, the Snapdragon 810, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and USB Type-C, all in a pretty premium metal build that fits in the footprint of its predecessor. So I was in the unique position of actually being able to use a OnePlus 2 for the past couple of weeks, 2 weeks or so before launch, which I guess looking at other articles and stuff, not a lot of other people have had that. So while I'm not about to drop a full-on review video for you guys right now, I do have a bunch of impressions after using this guy on and off for the past couple of weeks. So these are 5 impressions I have of the OnePlus 2. First off, that button. I kind of dig it, and when we heard that the OnePlus 2 would have a fingerprint reader, right, there were some speculation about where it might be. Some thought it might be on the back of the phone, some phones have it on the side, but like the iPhone 6 and the Galaxy S6, the OnePlus 2 also puts it on the middle, right on the home button, which I think is the most convenient place to put it for using a fingerprint sensor. You can use it without flipping the phone over to the back, and it's not crazy hard to reach to unlock your phone. The OnePlus 2's fingerprint reader, however, is not like the Galaxy S6, and it's not like the iPhone 6 in the fact that it's not a physical pressing button. It doesn't actually press down or click like other phones. It's actually more of a touchpad that doesn't move like we saw on the HTC One M9 Plus. It still acts in the same way as a regular home button though, so tapping it from anywhere brings you home, and you can assign a specific action to a long press or a double tap of actually any of the bottom buttons. So the default of the home button long press is to open Google Now, which I like, and also I made double tapping the home button a camera shortcut, just like the Galaxy S6, but you can do whatever else you want in the software, which is dope. And of course you can also just hold down on the unlock screen to unlock the phone with your fingerprint, and accuracy for me has been north of 90%. I'd say it's pretty accurate and pretty quick. I only have one registered finger, but that's all I need, is just one thumb. And you can also hold down your registered finger on the home button when the display is off to get it to wake the phone and just go right into the UI. So it reads your finger pretty fast and is ready to go. I really like this feature. Also, for those worried about the off-screen buttons, first of all, the left capacitive button is the back button by default, and the right button is the multitasking carousel. But you can switch them if you want to have it match other phones, or disable them completely and just use on-screen buttons for those who are all about that Nexus feel. So my impression number 2 is on battery life. Now again, my last 2 weeks have been spent with a pre-release model, so while it does appear pretty much identical to the final version, things could still change by the time the final version ships to you guys, but here's my experience. Battery life on the OnePlus 2 is pretty good. Now, what was my benchmark? I was using a Galaxy S6 Edge alongside it for the past couple weeks, so I guess it doesn't take a whole lot to impress me. But really though, for all the hoopla about the Snapdragon 810, going with a 1080p display, while it may disappoint some members of Team Crispy, is actually a really good move for the battery life department. Standby time is really good, and it lasted 2 days standby without a problem if I didn't use it much. And during actual use, I'm getting about 4.5 hours of screen on time. But again, remember what I said, this could change. I ran a benchmark just for kicks since I had the time, and we all know the OnePlus 1 was a freak with battery life. Geekbench gave that a battery score of 3,606 with 6 hours of screen on time, and it gave the OnePlus 2 a battery score of 2,871 with less than 5 hours of screen on time. B- for now. Impression number 3 is on USB Type-C. This is either one of the first or the first smartphones launching with a USB Type-C port. And if you're curious about what all this means, you can watch the entire full-on explainer video I did about this new port. I'll leave it linked right below. Bottom line here is it's not micro USB anymore, so you will need a new charger, and obviously OnePlus will ship you a charging cable. I ended up actually using my Chromebook Pixel charger because it's a longer cable and it's still USB Type-C. And that also means no quick charging here. So it took about 3 hours to charge up from 25% to full. And I guess I was a little bit spoiled by the Galaxy S6 battery. Obviously it's a smaller battery, but it's also Quick Charge 2.0, and that thing charges like crazy fast. So I got used to that. So I guess the combination of a larger battery and the lack of quick charge from USB Type-C made it feel, even with the Chromebook Pixel charger, kind of like a slow trickle. But then again, it shouldn't be that big of a deal if I'm only charging it once a day, if it's lasting longer than the Galaxy S6. And believe me, it is lasting longer on battery than the Galaxy S6. Fourth impression is specifically on the thermals. There have been plenty of people wondering about the Snapdragon 810. Does it get hot? Does it overheat? Is it going to burn me? Does this thing have thermal problems? Well, so far, nope. The closest thing I can say about that is that it does get warm to the touch after using it for a long time or gaming for a while, which is pretty normal. But it's never actually gotten so hot or gotten to the point where it's limited performance or functionality in any sort of noticeable way. I don't know if you remember when I did my super early first impressions of the LG G3, where it actually did do that. After a certain point, after a bunch of gaming, it would say, listen, it's gotten too hot, we're going to limit your brightness because it needs to cool down. But no such problems with my OnePlus 2. In fact, I think my Galaxy S6 has probably gotten just as warm to the touch, especially after a lot of gaming right along these metal rails, but neither of them has actually had any problems. Just for kicks, here's a thermal image of the Galaxy S6 Edge up top and the OnePlus 2 on the bottom after some light gaming after about 5 minutes. The OnePlus 2 here is 2 degrees Fahrenheit warmer on the back by the camera. Again, neither have any problems. And then after some heavy gaming for about half an hour, here's the OnePlus 2, definitely very warm to the touch, but as far as I could tell, no difference in performance or function. Finally, impression number 5 is that the whole software experience is very clean. It's OxygenOS version 2. It's a super close to stock Android experience, but with some added features, kind of like CyanogenMod. First of all, the custom button on the side of the phone is awesome. It acts as a quick switch between showing all notifications, priority mode, or do not disturb mode, and I use this at least once a day. And then there are also some other nice features like the ability to rearrange the icons in the quick settings and save that. There's also a toggle to enable a system-wide dark theme, which looks pretty nice. It basically reverses the colors in, I guess, like the settings app and uses cyan accents. You can go into app permissions also, kind of like Android M, and revoke certain permissions from apps that don't seem to need it. Even though this isn't a ROM based on Android M, this is a cool feature to see. And there's a couple of other things too. Of course, I've done an entire video just on OxygenOS back when version 1.0 came out for the OnePlus One, so if you want to check that out, see what it's all about, I'll leave a link to that video right below that like button. And those are my early impressions. So if you're clamoring for more OnePlus stuff, definitely check out my camera review, which I did specifically all about the OnePlus 2's camera and comparing it to other flagships and stuff. And that's essentially it. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get more impressions and stuff as I build up all my stuff for the full review, so subscribe to be among the first to see that. And that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.